What a time to be a Baylor Bear, undefeated, the number 6 team in the country, but still so much to prove. The playoffs start now for Baylor as the one-loss Sooners come to town. It's Oklahoma on the banks of the Brazos taking on the Baylor Bears, and College Football Live starts right now.
College Football Live is presented by Wrangler.
Some of these teams haven't been tested the way they will be in the coming weeks. Oklahoma might be the best team in the Big 12.
Mayfield to throw with time. Takes off. Touchdown, Sooners.
You got to give Oklahoma State their credit for now.
Back to pass out of the shotgun. Throws it deep down the middle for James Washington. He leaps and makes the catch. Spins to the 25. Good night, Vienna.
I'm sticking with the Baylor Bears. I'll go down with the ship, but I still think they're the best team.
Stood back to throw. Here's it out down the near left sideline. Coleman all by his lonesome. Touchdown, Baylor.
With Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, I think we'll continue what they've been doing.
He got his feet wet, and I don't expect them to be dried off anytime soon.
Hey everybody, welcome to College Football Live. I'm Sam Pogner, joined by Desmond Howard and David Pollock. Guys, I don't think I've ever heard that happen. We just heard Kirk Herbstreit get booed.
Yes, we
and
did.
Paul Feinbaum cheered?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard back here?
What's that all about?
I didn't hear Paul get cheered. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It was a small cheer.
Oh, sorry.
But that's what all the discussion around here is about these days. Who is the best team in the Big 12? So, David, I know you kind of have a hostile crowd behind you, but who you got in the Big 12 right now?
Well, first I got ball. I think that guy's lost.
The Big 12 defense
Big
guy?
12 defense. They don't really play defense in the Big 12.
Conference.
It exists.
No, not here. I think it's Baylor. I'd like to tick them off and say it's not Baylor, but I think with Billings and Oakman and Palmer, I think they have enough guys in the trenches where they can get a few stops, and so I think Baylor's the best team in the Big 12 right now.
I would agree. I think it's Baylor. Obviously, to me, Baylor's season really starts tomorrow against Oklahoma. I think because you look at Baylor's wins, undefeated team, but no wins against a team that has a winning record right now. So I think that tomorrow they're going to show that they're the best team in the conference. TCU failed Oklahoma State last week. Oklahoma State's another team to keep an eye on, too. So I would say Baylor at this point of the season.
Why do you think people have slept on Oklahoma State so much?
Because they struggled. That's why. If you watch the Kansas State game, they easily could have lost that game. They probably should have lost the Texas game. So, again, their schedule sets up nicely down the stretch. I mean, to be afforded the opportunity to host TCU, to host Oklahoma, to host Baylor, it sets up great. So, listen, Mason Rudolph's playing excellent. Their defense is creating turnovers. So, I understand it, but they did struggle early in the season.
A lot of people struggle with Kansas State, though.
Yeah, no, a lot of people do. But
Kansas State's a welcome.
And Oklahoma
team.
lost to Texas.
It makes sense.
So.
I think because Oklahoma State, they got that 2-quarterback system. A lot of people are kind of weary about that, but their defense, I think, is the real deal. Emmanuel Ogbah, one of the best defensive linemen in the country, so I like Oklahoma State.
Well, let's take a look right now at how things are going in the Big 12. We've been talking about how really complicated it's getting at this point in the season. Among the Big 12 contenders, Oklahoma State has the only win over another team currently ranked by the committee. The Cowboys, of course, beat TCU last week. However, it's Baylor that's the highest-ranked team in the conference at number 6. Bears head coach Art Briles joined our Reese Davis this week to talk about their ranking during Tuesday's Top 25 show. Take a look.
It's kind of about what we figured. I mean, it's like I say, it's still early in the process. We understand that our schedule is really backloaded, so we're going to have a chance to make some noise, but we're going to have to work for that noise too. I mean, we got us a tough road ahead, but we're tough out too. So that's what makes college football so great. I mean, that's why people pay money, sit in the stands and holler, because you're not really sure what's going to happen.
It's a far cry from un-American a year ago.
But he still says it all with a smile. That's what you got to love about Art Briles. Today's comfortable conversation brought to you by Wrangler is which team's ranking, Desmond, we'll start with you, is more disrespectful, Baylor at number 6 or Oklahoma State at number 8?
Wow. I would, well, to me, like I said earlier, you look at Baylor and they don't have a win against a team with a winning record. So that goes against them right now. Their non-conference schedule is weak. But to me, their season starts tomorrow. If they can beat number 12 Oklahoma, then all's well for the Baylor Bears. I think that the rankings are okay. I don't have an issue with any of the rankings because Now in November is when you start to earn, and you start to earn your respect, and you start to separate the contenders from the pretenders in November.
Well, especially in this league.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no other schedule except in November because all these teams, all the good teams in the league this year are playing each other. I mean, Oklahoma State probably has the right to say so because they beat TCU. I mean, that might be the most quality win in all of college football. They handled TCU. They turned Boykin over 4 times. They put up touchdowns. They put up points. They won by 20 against a team that a lot of people were in uproar about. That's not fair. They should be in the top 4. They should be in the top 6. So I think Oklahoma State has a legitimate beef with their sitting at number 8.
I would say the most quality win so far in college football is Alabama over LSU because they really manhandled LSU. LSU is a very, very good team.
Well, we're going to talk more about that, and specifically Leonard Fournette in that game later in the show. But I guess I'm wondering, in this situation in the Big 12, do you think it's possible that an undefeated Big 12 team gets left out of the playoffs?
No shot. I don't think so.
The only reason it's not going to be possible is because at least 2 of the top 4 teams currently holding those positions will lose.
That makes it easier, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no. If those 4 win, Big 12 is out.
See, I don't think so. I don't think Notre Dame, in the end, even if Notre Dame beats Stanford, but if Oklahoma State beats 3 ranked teams, all in the Big 12, and they go undefeated, I think Oklahoma State or I think Baylor, I think one of those teams would be in.
My friend,
you have to be undefeated, but they have to be undefeated. They have to be undefeated. They can't have a loss.
You can't have a one-loss team.
There's no way anybody's going to move Notre Dame out of that number 4 slot if they keep winning. If they beat Stanford, trust me, there's no one on that selection committee that's going to move Notre Dame, a one-loss Notre Dame, with that one loss coming to the number 1 team in the country and move them out for an undefeated Big 12 team. Not Notre Dame, the team that got its own network. Please.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Child, please.
TCU last year got slid out in the final week, and you saw that happen.
Very disrespectful.
I think if you're undefeated in this conference with the 4 teams that they have in this conference, I don't think there's any way they'll be left out over a one-loss team.
They're not going to replace Notre Dame. I tell you that. Notre Dame wins out, they're in.
Well, the good thing about all these guesses we're making is it's going to get figured out in the.
And we don't know. Only the committee knows.
We have no idea.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about this game. Hopefully, we know a little bit about this one. Oklahoma and Baylor. Is there one player, guys, in this game that you're most looking forward to watching tomorrow night, Des?
Oh, man. Well, you know, I like the little small guys. You know,
you better say
Corey Coleman.
You better say it. I'd be disappointed if you didn't.
Is my dude, man. I can't wait to watch this wide receiver. 20 receiving touchdowns on the season. He averages 2 first downs per reception, 20 yards per catch, and he's explosive. He's dynamic. This kid, I mean, he's a hell of a competitor. I just love watching him on the field. I can't wait to watch him tomorrow night. He's one of the most exciting players in the country. And right now, he's the front.
Are they talking about you or Corey?
Let's start.
Hush him down and tell him.
Hey, shh. We get there. We'll get there.
Wow,
let's start with the Biletnikoff first, though.
Okay. He just gave him the Biletnikoff.
Yeah.
Now you can cheer.
That's nice.
He's probably the front runner right now for the Biletnikoff, especially since Doxson got hurt.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see Baker Mayfield. And I say that he's obviously put together a big string of games where they're scoring a ton of points. It hasn't been against elite competition, but if you watch Baker Mayfield, he's scrappy. He's tough, man. He'll run, he'll sling it, but I just love the way he fights. If you watch that Tennessee game when they were in Knoxville, they get down 17. He basically, he won't let his team lose. I mean, whatever play needed to be made, really have respected watching Baker Mayfield this season.
Well, we're looking forward to this one. This game, of course, is going to be on ABC at 8 Eastern tomorrow night. Our own Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit and Heather Cox have the call on this one. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. Perhaps the game of the day, I would say. I think that's pretty safe after looking at the slate for tomorrow. That's at 8 on ABC. And after some disappointing weeks, let's take a look at winning traditions driven by Goodyear. On a Saturday afternoon, it's one of the more unique scenes in all of college football. Tailgating on the Brazos River around McLean Stadium. Make sure to look out for the Bearmada, and I don't know who those fellas were. And this guy,
look at the cooler. I love it. That was awesome.
Good look.
61-58.
Never forget.
Like that one.
Never forget. And a little flashback for you.
Nice.
2011, yeah. They loved this around.
Hey, my fraternity brother. There he is.
Having his Heisman moment when the Bears upset number 5 Oklahoma in Waco. I was there for that. That was
that earned that guy a statue behind him.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So RG3 was the first Heisman winner from Baylor. Can Corey Coleman become the second? The Baylor receiver is third in the latest poll of Heisman voters from around the country. Bama running back Derrick Henry now is the current favorite after the game that Des mentioned, of course, against LSU last week. So, guys, who's your Heisman favorite right now? We'll defer to Mr. Heisman.
Well, listen, I'm just glad I don't have to submit a vote today because, in my opinion, it's wide open. After what happened a week ago to Leonard Fournette and Trevon Boykin, the Heisman race is wide open. So a guy like Corey Coleman can't throw his name in the hat. And tomorrow night's going to be a big stage. I think that he's a fantastic player. But if I had to vote today, I don't know who I would put 1, 2, and 3. So thank God I don't have to submit my vote today.
I'm right there with you. Now one thing I really can't stand, Des, and I'm sure you can't either, I can't stand that all of a sudden Leonard Fournette rushed against Alabama's defense, which if you want to find a hole for me, I'd love to have seen it.
Exactly.
Because it wasn't on him.
Right.
But Derek, if you put Leonard Fournette on Alabama's team last week against LSU, he'd have rushed for 250, 300 yards. It wasn't the same. So I'm fine with it being neck and neck with everybody and whoever earns it in the biggest games down the stretch. Because I don't think there is somebody that you point to and say, it has to be that guy.
Well,
I'm glad you made that point, about Leonard Fournette if he played with Alabama, because I told everybody, I said, listen, what do you think Derrick Henry would have done against Alabama's defense? So, no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette has carried his team. He's done a great job. There's no excuse for people, like, all of a sudden wipe him off the board. If you hear people talk about, he's out of it. Right. That dude is the best running back and maybe the best player in college football.
So that doesn't change to you his place in the Heisman running at all?
No, it changed it for sure. He was the clear front runner. Now there isn't a front runner.
Now he's still on the board.
Yeah, some people are like, oh, no, after that game, he's off the board. He shouldn't win the Heisman. Whatever you do the rest of the way, I think whoever earns it now should get it.
Let me ask you this. Do you think there's even a chance that a quarterback could win it this year?
Quarterback always wins it.
But this year, after Boykin lost last week, do you think there's even a chance? I mean, that's kind of a unique year where it doesn't even seem like there's a quarterback necessarily on the map after that loss. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's still on the map.
Boykin can still get back in there, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still dynamic and electric.
Exactly.
And he can give you those wow moments down the stretch, but we just talked about it. I think it's still wide open. A quarterback's won it every year, it seems like.
You have to pick a quarterback who you think can have one of those wow moments this late in the season.
He's just mad there's no D-end.
No, there's never a D-end in there.
No love for the poor guys on defense. All right, we've got a lot more coming back from College Football Live right here on the Brazos River at Baylor University. Coming up, the big boy they know and love here, Laquan McGowan, is a 400-pound threat on offense, but why does he only have one score this year? We'll discuss that during Fair or Foul, coming up next.
This Heisman Update is brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
When the moment's spontaneous.
Catch on the year, fair or foul?
I think that's foul. I think you have a weapon like that, you got to use it. I mean, that guy, no one wants to tackle him. I mean, once he gets the ball in his hands, everyone's making the business decision. How important is this scholarship to me, huh? Do I really need this degree? So they're going to let big man just rumble down the field? I think it's foul. I will feature him tomorrow night against Oklahoma.
What are we discussing, fair or foul?
He would be targeted at least 11 times tomorrow night if I was
tackle. Would you?
Come on,
here's the thing I'll say about it. Of course, I'm sure Baylor wants to use him as a weapon. What's Baylor's biggest weapon? Tempo. I'm going to go out on a limb and say McGowan probably can't play 15 plays in a row, Des. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he probably needs some oxygen pretty quickly. So, in that aspect, it's fair. He probably doesn't need to be on the field too much.
That's disrespectful. That's what we're shaming right there. All right, moving on. On Tuesday, the rankings came out, of course, and the undefeated Iowa Hawkeyes landed at number 5. Jumping up 4 spots from number 9 after beating a 4-4 Indiana team. So, Iowa's ranking, Des, fair or foul?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. That's tough.
Not by your reaction. I can tell by your reaction.
I don't know what the playoff selection committee, what they're thinking. I think that I guess it's foul. It got to be foul. Yeah, it's kind of foul. And I don't want to disrespect.
Just kind of foul.
I don't want to disrespect the Big Ten like that. You know what I mean? They've worked so hard to get to where they are today. But yeah, I think it's foul. You're telling me only 4 teams in the country are better than Iowa right now?
I don't believe that either. But you also start looking at the way they're ranking people. There's so much subjectivity in it. I think it's tough to pick. And if you look, they beat Wisconsin, who's in the top 25 somehow, which I don't really see how either. Northwestern was in the top 25, who beat Stanford. So who else are you going to put there? I think you could start arguing.
Oklahoma State?
I think but the rest of their opponents they've played, they haven't played 2 quality. The only team they beat
you
in
think
quality
right now
is
Iowa's better than Stanford?
No, I would take Stanford. But they beat a common opponent?
Yeah, they beat
Northwestern.
I don't count that game. It's like 9 a.m.
You know what? Sam doesn't count that game. So committee, if you're watching, just disregard that one, please.
I got you.
Sam Ponder said it doesn't count.
Hey, now that's getting disrespectful right now. We're going to move on.
Good.
Another team that's been disrespected, the Clemson Tigers, not disrespected anymore. They play Syracuse this weekend. The school of the great fullback, of course, Jim Brown. Now, Coach Sweeney has he had this plan at least to try and pump up his team by naming his long snapper, Jim Brown, a captain for this game, but the players didn't quite react the way he thought. Take a look.
I'm like, man, I've been waiting all year. I can't wait. We're going to Syracuse, and Jim Brown's going to be the captain. He's going to lead the Tigers into Syracuse. We got our own Jim Brown. And they're all going. I mean, is that not sad?
All right, so fair or foul, the Clemson football team not knowing who Jim Brown is, Des.
Well, I understand it, but I think it's foul. I think you need to know who the greats are in the sport that you play, and Jim Brown was one of the greats of the great. Not only was he a great football player, but he was a great lacrosse player, too. So I think it's foul when you don't know the history of some of the great players who played the game that you claim to love. So that's foul.
Like, what's a fullback?
Well, yeah, that's true. Especially Clemson. They haven't used one of those in years. I understand, but, you know, these kids were born in what?
Yeah.
90? 90 and above now?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's amazing that these kids are so young and that they're where they're at. But they should know Jim Brown. They should
Jim
know
Brown,
these players.
You should know the icons.
But this just shows you that we're getting old.
That's
the bottom line, Dan. Because this is what your parents did to you. You don't know who that is.
Exactly.
Steve Wojciechowski just did that to me the other day. I didn't know who Cary Grant was, and he was like,
the actor? The actor Cary Grant?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't know who Cary.
Oh, y'all too. Y'all. I can't believe you. You don't know Cary Grant?
All right.
See?
We're gonna move on.
Generational thing.
Hey, that's what acting was acting.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
Back in my day. Back in my day.
We've got a lot more
I'm sounding like my dad now.
We're going to take a break because I'm sure it's not going to be fun for me in this break after that. We've got more from Waco coming up on this Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
I feel like something freaky is going to happen here. We've only got a little bit left.
Where's those Kirk goblins came out?
Okay, first of all, our heads
there you go.
there.
There's your
That is
freakiness.
creepy in and of itself.
Names ring a bell?
I'll never get used to that. We'll be back in a minute.
Humphrey Bogart? You ever heard that guy?
I'm sorry, okay? God.
He went.
Game day signs are delivered by Pizza Hut, the official pizza sponsor of College Game Day, built by the Home Depot. Tune in Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, to see this weekend's top signs.
If you qualify for a Sittingham's card today, I can offer you no interest for 24 months.
Well, thanks to the tools and help at
By Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. And in part by Outback Steakhouse. Hurry in for steak and seafood pairings starting at just $14.99.
So today is Friday the 13th, of course. I'm told anything can happen.
I think there's going to be a tons of things that are happening that's bizarre, but I think don't be surprised if Arkansas beats LSU. I mean, Alabama, physical game, takes its toll after that week. Coming back, Brandon Allen has been spinning the bean. I mean, threw for over 400 against Ole Miss. He's been playing good.
Fournette's going to be
and they already run.
Very.
He might be sore still, Sam.
Yeah, that's probably.
You know, I think with so many lopsided games, so many matchups that we think, you know, the favorite team should blow them out. I'm just hoping that they take care of their business and get out of there unscathed. You won't see anybody lost to injury over a game that, you know, they should easily win. So
that's what we were trying to do. Take care of business and get out of here unscathed. Did we do it? I don't know. College Game Day, 9 a.m. Eastern.
Jim Brown didn't think so.
Yeah.
Cary Grant didn't think so.
For watching, we really do appreciate it.